talk about our demographics and you know, what makes us different in terms of what needs to be addressed here.
Well, so from where I'm coming from to here, Escambia County has a much larger job base. There are fewer retirees here, from what I'm seeing from the data and what I'm learning as I engage with our community. So there are more working people here. There are more people raising their families, being part of the local economy. And if you look at Santa Rosa County, that's quite a bit more rural than what I'm used to. It's a smaller county by density, population density. And the needs between a more urban environment as we have in Escambia County versus the rural environment of Santa Rosa present different needs, different gaps of services for those experiencing homelessness. And it's wonderful for me to see and to learn what service capacity is here within those two counties, and also work with the communities to identify the gaps in services within each of those communities to help align the resources within the homeless continuum of care to ensure a high level of quality of services to those experiencing homelessness.
In the month or so that you've been on the job, I would imagine you've been really looking at the situation here. You mentioned gaps in services. What are some of the top things that you want to address or that you see need to be addressed in this region?
Well, one of the first things that I noticed, and it's not surprising in this type of world, so it's not a critique of the work that's been done here at all, but it's an ongoing challenge for homeless service delivery, is street outreach. We have a couple of very strong street outreach providers that operate in both counties, but we only have a couple providers that are doing that very essential work. What street outreach performs is it helps the community of service providers identify those who are experiencing homelessness and ensuring that they get into the homeless service delivery system. Street outreach is and should be the way that the individuals get in the front door, okay, and ensure that there's not a closed door anywhere. So every door is open. That's why our name is Opening Doors, is to ensure that the barriers to receiving services are removed to ensure that the people that are most at risk in the highest level of crisis are matched with the services they need to then rejoin the community, because that's our goal, is for those experiencing homelessness to rejoin the community into permanent stable housing so they can not only survive, but they can thrive.
Are there enough beds in the region to provide shelter on any given night?
That's a great question. First off, I was so impressed when I got here of how many shelter beds that we have in this community. It's a testament to the community, to the service providers, to the faith-based community, that everyone that is part of the shelter system here. And so I love working with them. I've been to every shelter within the past 31 days, and the quality of service, the practices that are being used are in alignment for good, dignified, high-quality service. But to specifically answer your question, no. We do not have enough shelter beds here. And that is evidenced by the individuals that we see in the community that are on our streets. And so part of my responsibility is to help the community understand what the gaps of services are, work with our service delivery network to determine what the cost that those gaps in services need to be resolved, and then advocate, grant write, identify funding to bring that funding into the community so we can fulfill those gaps. And yes, shelter beds actually first, street outreach is number one on my list, with the number two being shelter bed capacity, because when the street outreach does their wonderful work to identify individuals to bring in to the service delivery network, we need to have beds for them to go. That's particularly apparent during this time of year here when we have these cold nights. When the temperatures drop below freezing, that is life and death challenges for those that are on the street. The community has a good, what we call the cold night shelter system here, in coordination with Escambia Emergency Services. Local transit is providing assistance in providing free bus service to the cold night shelters. The largest cold night shelter here in the community is Waterfront, and they do a wonderful job surging their capacity to ensure that anyone that shows up at their door has the opportunity to receive a safe bed in a warm space. But we need more, and we certainly need more in Santa Rosa County. Ferris Hill there does a wonderful job opening up their facility for cold night. But once again, that's one location, just like Waterfront is one location. And so part of my goals going into this year is working very closely with the emergency management teams, both here in Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, so that when we do have extreme events, think cold night, think hurricanes, think, God forbid, another, biological, epidemic, that we have the infrastructure in place to be able to serve the homeless as best as possible to meet their needs. And I have had wonderful conversations with these organizations, and they have they've opened their doors, and they very much want to make sure that the unhoused are served to the highest level possible. So the heart is here in the community. I'm hoping to help organize the good partnerships between the private and the public sector to ensure that the unhoused receive the services that they need and that we deserve to give them.